Leaks surrounding Samsung's next foldable generation are sounding more significant than a usual annual refresh, because the rumors aren't only about faster chips or slightly better cameras. They point toward a broader rethink of what the Fold should feel like in everyday use, how it should look when closed, and even how Samsung may label its models. The biggest theme is the alleged shift toward a wider, more natural aspect ratio, often described in leaks as the Galaxy Z Fold 8 wide approach. If this is accurate, Samsung would be moving away from the older, tall, and narrow Fold identity where the cover screen can feel like a compromise, especially for typing, reading, and general scrolling. A wider outer display would likely be aimed at making the phone feel more like a normal flagship when it's closed, something you can comfortably use for quick tasks such as replying to messages, handling calls, checking notifications, browsing social apps, using maps, scanning emails, and doing day-to-day typing without constantly needing to unfold the device. That matters because many foldable owners end up treating the phone as two different devices, a narrow cover screen for emergencies and an inner screen for everything else. A wider Fold could reduce that friction by making the closed experience genuinely pleasant, not just passable. When unfolded, the inner display would still provide the core benefit of the Fold category, a compact tablet-like workspace for multitasking, reading, productivity, and media, but a more balanced shape could also improve how apps scale and how split-screen layouts feel, since extremely narrow proportions can sometimes lead to awkward UI spacing or cramped columns in certain apps. Alongside the hardware shape change, there's also talk of a lineup rebrand that could alter how people think about the Fold family. The wider model may reportedly become the standard Galaxy Z Fold 8, while the traditional classic Fold design, closer to what we've seen in previous generations, could be repositioned as the premium variant and renamed Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra. If Samsung actually does this, it would be a strategic statement that the wide direction is no longer an experiment or a side option, but the main identity of the Fold, while the old design either becomes a niche preference or an ultra tier that justifies its existence through higher-end features, thinner engineering, or a different user type. Another major improvement repeatedly mentioned is Samsung's effort to reduce the visibility of the inner screen crease, which remains one of the most noticeable reminders that a foldable display is still a compromise compared to a traditional slab phone. Even though crease visibility has improved over the years, it can still catch the eye on bright backgrounds, while reading text-heavy pages or under harsh lighting. So any meaningful reduction would immediately raise the perceived quality and make the unfolded display feel more seamless and premium, closer to a single sheet of glass look. On the leak specification side, the rumored Galaxy Z Fold 8 wide sounds particularly ambitious in terms of portability. It's said to weigh around 201 grams, which would be very competitive for a book-style foldable and notably lighter than some rivals. One comparison cited is Huawei's Para XM Max at 229G. Weight is a bigger deal on foldables than on normal phones because these devices are used in more positions, closed in one hand, partially opened, fully open like a mini tablet, and every gram affects comfort during longer sessions such as reading, video calls, commuting, or extended browsing. The wide model is expected to include a 500 mAh battery paired with 45W fast charging, which would be welcome because charging speed has often been a talking point for Samsung users who want faster top-ups during the day. The camera rumor mentions a new 50MP main sensor capable of native 24MP output, suggesting Samsung may be tuning its default photo processing toward a resolution that balances detail, low-light performance, and manageable file sizes rather than relying purely on high megapixel count for marketing. Meanwhile, the rumored Galaxy Z Fold 8 Ultra appears positioned as the more maxed-out option. Leaks claim it could weigh around 215 grams, and while that's heavier than the wide model, it may compensate with refinement in thickness, possibly slimming down to about 4.1 mm when unfolded compared to around 4.22 mm previously. That difference looks small on paper, but in foldables, thinness is a premium signature because the device is essentially two phones stacked together with a hinge, layered display materials, and internal reinforcement. Shaving even fractions of a millimeter can improve the hand feel, the elegance of the design, and how the phone sits in a pocket. The Ultra is also expected to get a meaningful battery upgrade to 5000 mAh, up from 400 mAh on its predecessor, which could translate into more confidence for heavy users who rely on the inner screen for multitasking, productivity, and long sessions of browsing or video. Charging on the Ultra is rumored to take a big step forward too, potentially moving from 25W to 45W, which would make the larger battery far more convenient in real life, because faster charging reduces the stress of topping up a device that's designed for heavy use. Finally, the rumored timeline suggests Samsung could officially reveal the Galaxy Z Fold 8 series at a Galaxy Unpacked event in London on July 22, and if that date is accurate, the usual pre-launch cycle, more detailed renders, accessory/case leaks, and additional spec confirmations will likely intensify as the event approaches. Overall, the story these leaks are telling is that Samsung is trying to make the Fold category feel less like a futuristic compromise and more like a polished mainstream flagship. Easier to use when closed thanks to a wider cover screen, more premium when open thanks to a less visible crease, and more competitive on everyday basics like weight, battery life, and charging speed, while also possibly reshuffling the model names to reflect a new standard versus Ultra identity within the Fold lineup.